Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Anne.
Good morning.
I
If
finally
you
made it.
all, good, I'm glad to see you here. If everyone could please move to your mat in a seated position, whatever's comfortable for you, a comfortable cross-legged position. Might be sitting on a cushion helps. You can move to the front of that cushion and lean forward a little bit. And if you'll just relax and put your palms on your knees facing up or facing down, and just settle in. Your shoulders, you can shrug them up and then let them drop down your back and just relax. And go ahead and close your eyes, seal your lips, and just breathe in and out through your nose. You can set an intention. It might be sending some positive energy towards someone or even yourself, or thanking yourself for being on the mat this morning. And just breathe through your nose, in and out. And we'll just take a moment of silence. You can gently open your eyes and come back to and staying in that comfortable cross-legged position, whatever that is for you. Go ahead and inhale and raise your arms up. And on the exhale, let's twist to the right, sending your left hand to your right knee, right hand behind you and over your shoulder on the exhale. On the inhale, back up to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. And exhale to the left. Inhale, center. This time, let's drop forward. You can reach forward. If you can touch the floor, that's fine. If you can't, just reach forward. You can drop your head. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, forward. Inhale, center. This time, put your right hand down and we'll bend towards the right. And we'll inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Feel a good stretch in the right side of your body. Inhale, center. And exhale, left. Inhale, center. And exhale, left, your other left. I think I got my sides mixed up then. And back to the center. And then come back to your natural breath. And we will practice this morning some of that yoga breathing. And we'll start with some shoulder shrugs. And so what you'll do then is breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. You might want to have a tissue handy because you might need one. So anyway, it's fast. This is called breath of fire. You're waking up your energy this morning, and you can go as fast or as slow as you want. Let's take about 25 of these. You can count to yourself, and when you stop, you can just come back to your natural breath, and then we'll do the next one. So it's like this. So let's go ahead and start then. 25 of these. And then you can come back to your natural breath. If you're still going, that's fine. We'll just wait a moment here. And you should feel your heart rate coming up a little bit. If you need to take a little wipe of your nose, that's fine. And then our next one, go ahead and bring your arms up so that your elbows are over your knees and you're open. Your hands are up, just your palms are facing each other. And what we're going to do is on the inhale, we're going to open And on the exhale, we'll close. By the way, if you have any shoulder injuries and this doesn't work for you, you can practice the breathing without the arm movements. That's perfectly fine. Or you can do a different arm movement. So it's the same kind of breath, that quick in and out through your nose. So make sure your mouth is closed. And let's do 25 of these. So one would be 1, 2, so you don't count both ways. All right. So go ahead and start that and use your breath of fire. All right. And when you're ready, you can come back to your natural breath. And we'll do just 20 of this next one. You can make fists. You can keep your thumbs on the outside so it's sort of a loose fist. And we're going to punch up in the air on the inhale and exhale on the bringing it down, bringing your elbows down. So go ahead and let's start with that. All right. Come back to your natural breath. And now to switch to a different kind of breath, we'll practice that ujjayi breath where we're taking that deep inhale. And when we'll hold it at the top of our breath and at the bottom of our breath, you can stay seated and just, you may want to close your eyes if you like, and go ahead. And on your next exhale, you can bring your hands to your knees, face up or down, whatever's comfortable for you. Inhale slowly through your nose, all the way up through your chest to the top of your head. And when you get to the top on this first one, open your mouth and sigh it out. Make sure you're getting all of the air, pressing it all out of your lungs. When you get to the bottom, seal your lips. And then go ahead and slowly inhale through your nose. This time, when you get to the top, see if you can take one more sip of air. And then open your mouth and sigh it out again. Sealing your lips at the bottom. Inhale slowly again, all the way to the top. Feeling your lungs, filling your lungs to their capacity. This time, keep your lips sealed and exhale, keeping that growling at the back of your throat. This time, if you would like to pause at the bottom and you can count or you can estimate, we'll go at our own pace. You can close your eyes and you will be inhaling, exhaling, and pausing at the top and the bottom. If you make it equal amounts for each time, this is what's known as square breathing, and it can calm down your central nervous system. So go ahead and we'll practice a few rounds of this, everyone at your own pace. On your next round, come back to your natural breath, and then you can slowly start to move towards your back. And go ahead once you get on your back and bring your knees into your chest and start to gently rock back and forth, giving your lower back a massage. Should feel good after sitting up. And then send your left leg out long on the mat. For a little extra challenge, you can hover your knee off the mat. If for a little bit more abdominal strength training, you can. Otherwise, you can leave it on the mat. You can take your left hand out to your side, your right hand on your knee, and let's draw those big circles on the ceiling. Again, if you have any hip issues, just don't do what does not work in your body. So draw those circles nice and big on the ceiling if you're doing this, and then take them in the opposite direction. Waking up all of those things in our hip joints this morning. And then go ahead and bring your knee back into your chest and give it a squeeze there. And then we'll send our right leg out to meet our left. And then bring your left leg in and giving yourself a nice squeeze. Inhale. And then let's draw those circles on the ceiling with our left knee. And then draw in the opposite direction. Keep breathing in and out through your nose. And then go ahead and bring your left knee in for a squeeze. And send your left leg out, and you can take a nice over your good morning stretch on the inhale. And on the exhale, bring your knees back in again. And let's go ahead and let go and have your wrists out. And you can have sort of a loose fist with your thumbs on the outside. And let's do some wrist and ankle work. So go ahead and point your toes and move your wrists in the same way out. And then flex your toes towards your face and your wrists. And so we'll do a few of these, just breathing in, point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, and you can be breathing while you're doing this. Inhale and exhale, point, inhale and exhale. And then let's take some ankle and wrist twists. You can go first in one direction. Doesn't really matter which way. Everything going in the same direction. And then let's do some twists in the other direction. We are going to meet in standing. If it works in your body, you can bring your hands to the back of your thighs and rock on your spine. You could rock all the way up to your shoulders. You can take a few of these, and eventually we will be up and standing. So when we get up to standing, settle in for a moment. And let's go ahead and inhale and look up. If it works in your back and shoulders, you can take a slight arch. And then with a nice hefty bend in your knees, arms out, let's exhale all the way down until your belly is resting on your thighs. Your feet should be hip width distance apart. A good way to measure that is your two fists in between your feet. That's a good amount to be apart for balance. And then just let your head and shoulders go. If it works for you, you can grab for opposite elbows. You can gently sway back and forth. If you want to work on straightening your legs, you can, just don't lock your knees. You could do one knee and then the other. You can perfectly fine to stay with your knees bent. But let your head and shoulders just absolutely go. Don't just let it hang. Imagine your head is like a coconut on a tree. And you can go ahead and let your arms go towards the floor. With your knees bent, see if you can touch the floor. And let's walk our hands over to the right for a nice twist. Leave your hips facing forward. You should be getting a good twist in your torso. Keep breathing. And we'll walk back towards the middle and walk towards the left, keeping your hips forward again. And a nice good stretch. And we will come all the way up. Come up very slowly. Your head will be the last thing to come up. Imagine you're coming up one vertebrae at a time. And you can take a nice stretch. Let's work on a balance pose. You can stand near a wall if you like. It's fine to stabilize yourself once in a while. If you're on a very thick mat, sometimes it's easier to stand on just plain floor. And so what we will do is let's start first giving a little bit of, we're going to start with our right foot will be the one on the ground, and we will lift our left foot. So go ahead and lift your toes and put them back down, and you should feel the four corners of your foot. And let's just simply bring your left knee up and hold on to your left knee with your left hand. And then if you want, you can raise your right hand to the side. If you fall out, just get back in and look at something that is not moving. And that is not me on the screen because I am definitely moving. And just breathe here. If you have a more advanced practice, you can grab for your foot or ankle and straighten your leg. Otherwise, this is a good balance. Go ahead and put your left foot back down, and you can kind of rock gently back and forth. And let's repeat that on the other side. So we will balance on our left foot. So lift your left toes, and then you can put them back down. You can challenge and try to put them down one at a time, but it works in my brain, not in my feet. Okay, and then little bit of a bend in your left foot, and then bring your right knee up and hold on to your right knee with your right hand. And you can take your left hand up if you like, and focus at something that is not moving. And just breathe in and out through your nose. If you fall out, just get right back in. Again, if you want to do more advanced, you can try to grab for your foot. And when you are ready, you can bring your right foot down to meet your left, and you can move back and forth. We're going to meet in tabletop, back down on the mat. So if you'll come down to all fours with your hands underneath your shoulders, remember not to put all of your weight on your wrists, but to claw your hands. You will have your knees underneath your hips. And let's go ahead and do some cats and cows. And remember, with cats and cows, we can get back to that ujjayi breath where we're inhaling slowly and exhaling. So on the inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze, lift your tail. And on the exhale, arch. And you can come up on your fingertips if you want for cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. And coming back to tabletop in the middle, go ahead and move your right hip to the right and look over your right shoulder. On the exhale, on the inhale, come through center. And you can repeat the other on the other side. And so you can take this at your own breath a few times. It might feel good to do some coming around. So you can come around like twisting in a circular motion, come to the right and to the left. You can come back to almost sitting with your arms straight. So you can take a few rotations. You can do cats and cows. You can wag the dog. Get out anything last minute that you need before we move into our first yin pose. Oh, I have one more thing I want to do before we go to yin. So do your cats and cows and your breathing. Whatever you feel like you need, make sure you keep breathing in and out as deep breaths, sort of slow, gentle movements here. Whatever feels good. You can even do other things that we've learned, like thread the needle if you feel like your shoulder needs a stretch. This is sort of free space to breathe and move for a moment. and we'll come back to tabletop. If you have downward dog in your pose, you can come up for a stretch if you like. If not, you can stay in tabletop. So when you finish with that, we'll all meet back in tabletop. So you can take a few stretches any way you want, but tuck your toes, and let's do that top of the foot stretch. So with your toes tucked, come back as far as you can. If you can sit on your heels, go ahead and sit on your heels and stretch the tops of your feet to get the circulation really going in your feet. And then you can come back and walk your hands forward and gently move your feet to the tops of the feet. And we're going to come back again. And as far as you can, and if you can sit on your feet, good. If you can keep going, good. Then you can kind of come back and rock up and up your knees up a little bit. And you can stretch the tops of your feet here. We are going to move into our first yin pose. So we will come around to seated pose with our legs in front of us. You might need a pillow, something underneath your knees like this. You can stack your knees if it's not comfortable for you to sit. It might be that you need some sort of pillow underneath your hips. And a lot of people like to sit sort of on the edge, and this can help sometimes. So find the position that's right for you. It might be that you would like a pillow. We're going to be leaning forward in front of you just to catch where you're going. I also want to say we're just going to be doing that really simple forward fold. Flex your feet towards your face. When you are leaning forward, this will help loosen any pain that's in your lower back. If you're having lower back issues, you can always go to child's pose. You can always do something different than what I am showing here. So we're going to relax our muscles, but when you come forward, make sure at first that your feet are flexed, and then later in the pose, you can go ahead and let your feet just totally relax. But if you do feel a pinch in your back, try flexing your feet towards you, and you'll find that it helps to loosen that. So we're just going to breathe up, and then with your hands wherever they feel comfortable, I'm just going to put mine at my side, just lean forward. And it might be that you are just leaning a little bit. It might be that you are coming closer to your knees. It doesn't really matter what it looks like in your body. It's the muscles that you're stretching, that fascia, the connective tissue as you lean forward, and just breathe. Make sure you're not holding any tension anywhere. Let go in your shoulders. Just let them relax. Let everything just flop towards the floor. You just let everything go and breathe. go ahead and slowly come up one vertebrae at a time and make your way to your back and bend your knees. And you might be able to touch the bottom of your heels with your fingertips. If not, that's no problem. And we're just for a counter stretch, just to get the lower back going the other way. Lift up into bridge pose just as high as you can. You kind of scoot your shoulders under a little bit more and just breathe here. If you need to come back down, you can, and then go back up again. Stretch here for a moment. Challenge yourself to lift your hips as high as you can. And go ahead and bring your hips back down. And then make your way to your belly. Straight down on your belly. And put your arms out like you're a bird soaring or an airplane. And we're going to turn to the right first. So you can take your left hand and you're on your right ear, lying down. And you're going to take your left hand and you can start to turn. Now there's an option that if your shoulders are tight, you might just bring your left leg up like this. And this might be your pose, turning on your shoulder just a little bit. If it works in your shoulder, you can, instead of doing that, just start to turn. And this is called open wing. Some people call it broken wing. You should feel a good stretch. And if it works in your shoulder, you shouldn't feel any pinching pain. You just should feel a good stretch. You can take that left leg and kind of kickstand it and put your foot on the other side if you like. Otherwise, you can keep your legs long. If you feel like you need to bend your legs, you can. And just breathe here. You should feel a good stretch on your right shoulder. Again, you might be doing this. You might have your leg up, and we call this half frog pose, and turned like this. So whatever works in your body, that you're getting a bit of a stretch in that right shoulder. Make sure that you are breathing and that everything is relaxed. ahead and unwind and come back through center. And we'll repeat this on the other side. Same thing, and this side might be different. You might just be doing half frog and turning a little bit, or you might be taking that right hand into a push-up and moving over. And if you need more of a stretch, you can kickstand that right leg up and over, and even start to move that knee out. Again, if you feel any shooting pain, back out and perhaps come to this pose where you're just on your side like this. All right, go ahead and relax and breathe on this side. Go ahead and gently unwind. And we will come back up through tabletop. And I'll give you a minute to get there. And when you do, we're going to do thread the needle to stretch our shoulders on the other side. And so you have a choice. You can do it the way we did it last week, if that's what works in your body, where you leave your hips up and you come down. Or I'm going to practice with child's pose today, where you bring your toes together and bring your knees as wide as the mat and sit back towards your feet. If you need a pillow here because you don't meet, you can, or you can stay with your hips up. You might need a pillow when you come to the center. Remember, we're going to put our left hand in the center and come up, and I'm going to bring my right shoulder down. My feet, I'm back on my feet if I'm practicing it this way. If my shoulder does not meet the floor, use as many cushions, pillows, whatever you need, so that you are resting on a cushion here. You should not feel any pain again. So again, you might be practicing like I am, like that, or you can practice with your feet parallel, and leave your hips up and practice like this if that is what works in your body. We're trying to stretch out our shoulder here. You get the added benefit or a different benefit when you're doing it this way because you're also stretching out your hip flexors as well. So go ahead, whatever works for you, and we're going to settle in onto our right shoulder. And breathe. Make sure your left shoulder is really relaxed and that you're not holding any tension anywhere. Let go in your toes, up through your shins, your knees, your hips. Just let everything sink into the ground and breathe. Go ahead and unwind and come back up through center. And whichever way you chose to do this pose on the first side, you'll do it on the second side. This side might be different. You might need pillows. It might be that you need to change it to the other way because of whatever your shoulder is doing. So we'll go ahead and sitting back on our feet, if you're practicing this way with me, up and then reach that arm through that keyhole and come down. Your right hand can just relax here. And we're on our left shoulder. If your shoulder is not meeting the mat, make sure that you're using a pillow, something in between you, because you don't want to just be hanging out in the air. You need to be relaxing onto your shoulder and giving it a good stretch here. Go ahead and breathe and relax. Make sure once you've settled in that you've totally relaxed your right shoulder as well. And make sure your legs are relaxed, that you're not holding any tension anywhere. Even relax your jaw and make sure you're breathing. Go ahead and unwind, and we're going to move to figure four. So most of you have been here, so you know that we'll do it either. You can do it in the middle of the room on your back, or you can move to the wall, which is my favorite. So I'm going to make my way to the wall. If you're doing the same, you can bring your right hip up to the wall, or whichever way you're facing, and you can bring your legs up the wall, and you can scoot in, and then you will cross your right leg, your ankle right below your left knee, your right ankle right below your left knee. If you're in the middle of the floor, remember you're just going to put your right hand through that keyhole, and you'll hold on to your shin below your knee, and your right elbow will be in your behind your right knee, and you keep that leg kind of perpendicular to you and parallel to the floor, and you can just pull through the wall like I am. Just let your arms flop at your side, whatever way is comfortable, palms up or down, and just let that left leg start to walk down the wall, and just breathe. You're getting a really good stretch in your right hip flexor there, and you should feel that. Shouldn't feel any shooting pain. If you do, back out. Make sure you're breathing and that you're relaxed everywhere. Go ahead and unwind. If you're on the floor, you can stretch your legs out. If you're at the wall, you can send both your legs up the wall. We'll cross our left leg and do the same thing that we did on the other side. Start to walk your right leg down. If you have your arm through the center, you can have your leg clasped through that key, left arm through that keyhole. Go ahead and start to relax into this position. Make sure that you can close your eyes. Make sure that you're not feeling any shooting pain. And just relax your shoulders too. Relax everything into the ground and feel that good stretch in your left hip this time and breathe. Go ahead and gently unwind. If you're at the wall, you can send your legs up the wall and then start to crawl down the wall through that yogi fetal position. We're all going to meet on our backs in the middle of the mat, in the middle of the room. And we're going to do that twist. We always want to twist to the right side first because of our getting our digestive system in order. So you can bring your knees up with your arms wide and just drop your knees to the right. If your knees don't, make sure your left shoulder is not popping up. If you're when that happens, if your shoulder's popping up, put a pillow underneath your legs so that that's not happening. If you need a little bit more of a stretch, you can always cross your left leg over your right and then twist to the right. If it works in your head, neck, and shoulders, turn your head and look at your left arm, and then you can close your eyes and just relax. Go ahead and unwind, and we will take that same thing on the other side. This side might feel totally different, so we'll be dropping our knees to the left or whatever side you didn't do, and then you can look towards the right hand and just settle into this twist. Again, if you need more of a stretch, you can cross your right leg over your left. Your right shoulder should not be popping up off the mat, and just relax. You should feel a good twist and breathe. Go ahead and come back to center and take any last minute stretch. You might feel like you need to stretch, like a good morning stretch. Happy baby is always good. This is where you have your knees wide, your feet like you're walking on the ceiling. You can grab for your shoulder, for your feet, your ankles, whatever you can reach, and roll a little bit. We will settle into our final Shavasana, just with your feet out. Let your heels flop to the side, your arms. And just check out how you're feeling this morning. Bring your chin a little bit towards your chest, and you should feel your spine on the ground. And go ahead and just breathe here for a moment. Go ahead and start to wiggle your fingers and toes. You can stretch. Move to your favorite side using your bottom arm as a pillow and come into that yogi fetal position for just a moment. You can pause here and see how you're feeling. If you want to stay in Shavasana, if you want to stay in this yogi fetal position, that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, you can join me and make your way up to a seated position. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. And I'll say to you, namaste, which means I bow to you. And have a wonderful day, the rest of your day. And I hope that you can take something with you. And I'll also say Om Shanti, 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 which is I'm sending you peace and joy. And may all living creatures live in peace today and always.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much, Ann. Awesome.